Alrighty, and welcome back to day 12 of our adventures with an Amar pilot. Today we're going to work on getting through the security agent missions. You got 20 of them to do to get through the air career program. On our initial start, we're also going to make sure we got our destroyer with a salvager on it. This will help us get through the last part of the Indy missions where we have to salvage up to 50 wrecks to complete that part of the mission. It's really a good idea. It makes it easy. You get a double dip on doing this while you're doing the security missions, because most of these missions you'll get at least 5 to 10 wrecks. Should let you, especially if you do like drone missions, if you have that option, should let you get, around 10 wrecks per mission. So it takes about 4 to 5 security missions to do. Go ahead and go into your agency tab, find security agents nearby. If you're lucky enough to find, and they got to be level 1s for this. I unfortunately selected a level 2. But if you can find a station that has a couple level 1s in it, you can kind of stack them up. That way you don't have to keep docking up and coming back. Well, now we're going to go ahead and dock into this space station. And this station has the level 1 and a level 2 security agent. Also a level 3, but I don't have the standing to do it. What we'll find out is only the level 1s count for the career agent missions, unfortunately. So when I do this level 2, it's not exactly going to help that count. But there should be enough people to attack that I can get the salvaging missions up pretty quickly. Now, one of the things to keep in mind here is this is an Amar ship, and they are armor tanked, not shield tanked. So your shields are probably going to drop pretty quickly, and then you're just going to have to kind of pulse your shield repair off, your armor repair off and on as the battle continues. Keep an eye on that capacitor, because you're using lasers. That also drains your capacitor a little quicker, and so you have to pulse that on and off. It takes a little micromanaging, but with a little practice you get it. Probably need to put a little better repair on this one. You should probably get the Tech 2 as quickly as possible to maximize the boost. But this little mission only had one guy to attack, so we're going to go ahead and warp off to the level 2 mission. And unfortunately, I don't think I have this fitted quite enough to tank properly for these guys. So I'm going to have a little bit of a struggle here. I'll probably end up having to warp off and come back. Probably the better thing to do would be maybe take a little of the damage in the low slots and add tanking to that. That would definitely help the destroyer last a little bit longer. I'll have to explore some new fits later. Yep, see, I'm already starting to run out of cap. But I'm getting my shields back, so I'm actually holding on tank here, so. Especially since these are just haulers. Typically haulers don't have weapons. So that allows me to build the tank back up. And then I'm just focusing on salvaging these different wrecks and looting them. Unfortunately, when you first start, you're running a Salvager 1. It usually takes, 2, 3, 4, 5 cycles, sometimes more. Sometimes you get lucky and it gets it on the first cycle. But since you're running level 1s, it does seem to give you a little more consistency on how quick it salvages. take a few minutes here as we get the wrecks all salvaged. Ooh, look at that, I got a daily bonus. And luckily we can watch this in high speed real quick as we salvage it. Once again, these wrecks had insignias, save those up. Do a Google search on where to take them. Because unfortunately that's the one thing that's not included in the career agency is where to turn those things in, other than the LP store. Yeah, the one thing that would make this easier is if you got the money. Yeah, so you should take 4 to 5 missions. We're already 10 in. If you have the money, go buy a mobile tractor unit, and it should easily fit in your cargo bay of your destroyer. The destroyers usually have 400 M3, so you can warp into a site, drop that immediately, and as you're destroying all the wrecks, it'll pull them in. That way you're not flying back and forth to all the wrecks and all the loot's in the mobile tractor unit. Just a quality of life. They are expensive. They're about 10 million, but you should, in theory, at this point, have enough money for that. If not, spend a day, work on your project discovery. Usually you can get a couple mil for that. If you've been doing project discovery every day to your maximum, by the time you get to this point, you should be able to finish them off, or have enough to have that enough for that mobile tractor unit. And you'll definitely make enough. No, you won't make enough in bounties running level 1s. So, but you will. You'll have it half paid off by the time you get through the 20 missions at least. And then if you were to sell any of the salvage, that should more than cover it. So it will pay for itself in the end. Just don't forget to pick it back up. And I usually recommend that you hit the bookmark button for the oops, I'm about to die here. Let's kind of warp out of here real quick. Warp, warp, warp. Oh no, don't go into... Oh, I don't think I'm going to go into a hole. Ah, we're in the hole. Alright, well, that sucks. We'll hit a repair station really quick. And then we will come back and try this again. But yeah, bookmarking the mobile tractor unit in case you leave an area. You can always fly back to it and pick it up in case you forgot. Control B hits your bookmarks. You can usually just set it for a couple hours. Usually once I scoop it to the cargo hold, I'll delete it from my bookmark section. Alright, repair. We'll go try this again since my tank isn't quite solid enough for this. Right now it's kind of destroyer versus destroyer, and they are really getting into my... Wow. Oof, that was close. Yeah, definitely with a destroyer, I would make sure you set yourself up for a little heavier tank and maybe not so much damage. Destroyers really aren't heavy tanks, but every little bit helps. Alright, set up here. Luckily, a lot of these wrecks are pretty close to each other, so I don't have to move very far. The other thing you could do if you did want a mobile tractor unit, on the destroyer, you could take one less weapon off and put on an actual tractor unit in the high slots. So you tractor everything in, and then you use the salvager to clean it up. Means the missions might take a tad bit longer because your DPS is going to drop by 20 or 30 points. But here we are, 2 missions down, 20 to go. I think part of that is because I've been running those level 2 missions. Those tend to have a little more combat oriented mission running. Because there are some combat missions where you'll see, 3 or 4 pirates to kill, and that's it, especially on the level 1s. Sometimes it's go kill one guy, get whatever he had in his cargo, and bring it back. They're fetch missions. Now, right now I'm kind of zoomed out with the tactical to see where things are. Sometimes in some of these missions, they're spread around the grid, 40, 50 kilometers away from you. In 360, they're like basically north, south, east, west. So you basically burn toward one and just work your way in a circle, clockwise or counterclockwise. And that way you're not aggroing the entire group at once. I think to make my life easier, yep, I brought in a alt to help me take these guys out a little faster, just so I can get through these missions a little quicker. So definitely worthwhile if you have a friend or a corp mate that's willing to help you with these. You can get these missions done pretty quick. Since unfortunately I wasn't didn't put enough tank into this, these guys were kind of making my life a little difficult, but with the help of my alt, I'm able to clear these rooms, in 2-3 minutes. All in all, each mission should take you, on average 5 minutes. You got 20 missions at level 1, so you're looking at 100 minutes. So about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, depending how quickly you get to get through that 20 mission grind. To get the salvaging done, that once you're done with the salvaging, the missions should go faster because you can just do the mission as quickly as possible. Don't bother with the loot, especially at level 1s. The loot isn't always all that good. You might miss out on, like 5 to 10 million over the long haul, but you'll get more from getting the LP faster with the loyalty points, as well as the mission rewards. Later on, like when I mission run, I have my main account on a level 4, and I got my alternate in a Noctis, so I will go to the mission, clean the room, pull the Noctis in. Noctis is designed for salvaging. And it has a bonus to tractor beams, so I can just plop it in the middle of the room, and the wrecks are 80 kilometers. I can target them, and I can pull them in with. I've got 4 tractor beams and 4 salvagers, so I pretty much bring them all in really quick. And once you have the Tech 2 salvager, 1 or 2 cycles on that thing, and boom, it's salvaged. So you can clear a room of 15 to 20 wrecks in just 2 or 3 minutes. Why is my screen frozen? Uh-oh. There we go. Apparently my computer doesn't always like it when I'm running 2 clients at the same time. It's going to be interesting when I start running 3. I'll have to really turn down the graphic settings to make sure it's functional. Obviously, the more clients you run at one time, the more computer resources it needs. So if you really get into this game, you're going to need a solid PC. Mine is a couple of years old, so you combine that with the fact that I've got the screen recording software running in the background, and I'm using quite a bit of resources, so sometimes it freezes up on me. Yep, and with the help of my alternate, I'm able to clear these rooms and never even lose all my shields. He's getting most of the aggro anyway. So I think what I did here is my alternate has the tractor beam. So he's tractoring everything in while I'm doing all the salvaging. Yeah, you can see the little blue lines and the arrows getting pulled in. And we have to go kill this manufacturing outpost. We're 4 missions into it, and I've got 37 wrecks completed, so definitely the Tech 2 missions help a little. Or level 2 missions. Tech 2, level 2, R2. There's so many acronyms with letters and numbers in this game, it can get confusing sometimes. Sometimes people say tier 2, but that could refer to abysses. Abyssal runs have 6 tiers. Thank you, phone. Should have put you on silent. Yep, so this is pretty much cap stable until I put on the oh, I'm doing active tracking for some reason. Interesting. Yeah, it's pretty much cap stable until I turn on the armor repair, and that's when you'll lose cap pretty quickly. But that's not uncommon for active tanking. Since this is going to be a multi-room mission run with the acceleration gates, there's a good chance that I will finish off this salvaging on this mission, if not the next one. And in this mission, you just, once again, kill the rats. And then there's a cargo container you gotta loot for the item you need for them to complete the mission. Now, a little tip, sometimes instead of orbiting the rats, 5th mission, now we're at 46, so we'll need 5 missions. So instead of orbiting the rats, sometimes it's easier to orbit or things that are out in space. So sometimes there's asteroid rocks. The pirates are all going to come to you anyway, so if you orbit that, you don't have to constantly reorbit, you just target and attack. Sometimes that works, sometimes you end up taking more damage because your transversal velocity is off, but I have found more often than not, if I use debris or structures on grid to orbit, that it's less clicking every time I destroy my target that I'm orbiting. But you just got to be aware that you may, as you orbit an object, you may be going out of range. Oh, so just finishing the wrecks, I just decided to jump into a combat site instead of instead of doing a mission. That way I can just kind of get it done. I had sent the alt to the combat site while I was returning in the missions. And then, yep, there's more than enough wrecks here for me to salvage off of that. I will get my 50 salvage wrecks complete. So it's one of those things. It's always better to have 2 players so you can kind of split roles. Whether it's you running 2 accounts at the same time or having friends. Eve is a very social game. So, you know, if you got other people that you can play with, it just compounds your effort and allows you guys to make more money in a more efficient and quicker manner. And yep, so yeah, you know, you don't have to run 2 accounts. You can do it by yourself, but I will tell you, running solo all the time can be a little boring. Sometimes it's just fun to do, but you know, you should mix it up. See, salvage is all done, so I'm going to go ahead and put on a 8th gun. It really will bump up my DPS overall. And like I said, I screwed up because I didn't realize that only level 1 security missions counted, and so those level 2s that I were running just were not so good. Now on these level 1 missions, if you're in Destroyer, if you're using your ranged weaponry, you could pretty much warp in. You don't even need to move. You can target these guys and alpha strike them and take them down. That way you're not bumping off collidable material like I am right here. I don't know what possessed me to want to do a quick mission discovery, but I had the time, so I did. Yep, from this point forward, I realized my mistake, so it's just level 1 mission after level 1 mission. Sometimes they warp you too close to these gates, so you may have to push off a little before you can actually use the acceleration gate because it'll keep bumping you. So make sure you realize how close you are on that gate. And the nice part is that since I'm using the ranged weaponry, I can fly around these guys at, you know, 20-30k, and they're doing very, very little damage. So little damage that my shield tank is just my natural shield repair is keeping up with it. Unfortunately, on a lot of these level 1s, most of the stuff you're going to pick up from loot is usually just scrap metal. In this case, I'm getting a bunch of laser modules, but it is mostly scrap. But it takes about 3 or 4 minutes to loot everything. And like I said, if you just want to grind through it faster, don't bother with the loot. I mean, my cargo hold is showing about 5 million in loot, but that also includes my ammo. And since I'm rocking faction ammo, that stuff's a little pricier. So it's that accounts for about 2 to 3 million of my cargo. All right, we're 7 missions into the 20, and we're just gonna kind of keep going here. Now, I want to remind everybody that, you know, the point of this series is just to kind of show that the casual player can kind of get through these air career missions within their first month. You know, a couple hours a day is all it takes. We're 12 days into it. We're probably about 50% of the way through the air career program to get us that nice bump in skill points to help us as we move forward. But, you know, it takes time, but it's definitely worth grinding out just to get those skill points. So that way, when you do decide what kind of gameplay you want to do, you can kind of give yourself a little jump start into that style. Whether you want to become an industry guy and do a lot of mining, if you want to just focus on PvE stuff, or if you're going to go join a corporation and get an alliance out in null space. You know, a lot of times the alliances want you to have certain fits, the fleet doctrines as they call them. So you'll have to skill into whatever ship it is that they run when they're running fleets. So that's something you discuss with the corporations and alliance. They'll guide you through that process. But as a new player, you know, you're going to have some limitations on what ships you can and can't fly effectively. Give it time. You know, a World of Warcraft player doesn't just go from 0 to level 80 with all epic gear. It takes time to skill up into this. The big difference is we don't do experience points. We do real-time training. So the real-time training, you know, allows you to, you know, level up basically while you're offline. That being said, I want to just remind everybody, please like, subscribe, follow the video, throw comments down below on things you like, don't like, you know. If you're a troll, that's fine too. Comments help, I don't care. I may just ignore you. Either way, it's greatly appreciated, helping grow the channel. Right now, I'm also working on putting actual full-length guides on how to do these missions as well. If you've seen my live streams on Sundays, we're just going through the same process as a new player, the same thing that you would go through. So if you actually want to watch it in real time, you know, check out the live streams. But to wrap up for today, we're going to finish off this mission. Looks like we'll get 9 of the 20 complete today. The salvaging definitely slowed us down a little, and my deciding to loot will slow the missions down a little. But if you burn through it, you can get done a little faster. This is an example of one of those cases where you warped into the middle, and they've got 3 groupings, basically at different cardinal directions. Just go to one grouping at a time so you don't pull the aggro of everybody. As long as you do that, your tank should hold out without any issues. Worst case scenario, you can kind of burn away from one group and kite them out a little bit. Got that second grouping done. Now we're going to go ahead and go to the third. And these little frigates just melt super fast. And as a rule, if you see that there is a jump gate, do that group last, because you have to kill every group in here before you can use the jump gate. It will be locked. Alright, burn to the gate. Go ahead and jump through. Once again, you got surrounded different groups in north, south, east, west. Just go to one group and work your way around clockwise or counterclockwise. Uh-oh, looks like I aggroed 2 groups at the same time. They managed to break my shields, but that's alright. I just pulse my armor repair. Once it's maxed out, I turn it off so I don't burn through that capacitor. Get these guys taken out. You know, I wonder if I could fit a micro warp drive. Means I'm easier to target, but I can get through these missions a little quicker. Because you can, with the micro warp drive, you can move like 1,500 meters per second instead of the 600 with the afterburner, but not a big deal. And that's it, folks. We hope you had a good night. We'll see you next time.